Peace and love to all brothers and sisters of House of Israel scattered in this modern time in Babylon. All the glory to the Most High, the highest power, to the life everlasting. Book of Deuteronomy, 5th chapter and 1st verse. And Moses called all Israel and said unto them, Hear, O Israel, the statutes and judgments which I speak in your ears this day, that ye may learn them and keep and do them. The Most High, our power, made a covenant with us in Horeb. The Most High made not this covenant with our fathers, but with us, even us, who are all of us here alive this day. The Most High talked with you face to face in the mount, out of the midst of the fire. I stood between the Most High and you at that time to show you the word of the Most High. For ye were afraid by reason of the fire, and went not up into the mount, saying, I am the Most High, your power, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. Book of Deuteronomy, 6th chapter, 1st verse. Now, these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which the Most High, your power, commanded to teach you, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go to possess it, that thou mayest fear the Most High, thy power, to keep all his statutes and all his commandments, which I command thee, thou and thy son and thy son's son, all the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged. Hear, therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with thee, and that ye may increase mightily, as the Most High power of thy fathers had promised thee, in the land that floweth with milk and honey. Verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Most High our power is one power, and thou shalt love the Most High thy power with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine head, and they shall be as frontlets between thy eyes, and thou shalt write them upon the posts of the house and on the gates. And when thou walkest by the way. In this second segment of HAYAH TV in English language, I would like to introduce you to the way. The way of life. The way of which way me, myself, Tomek, in previous recording I didn't introduce myself. Please excuse me. My name is Tomek. Tomek Łukasz, Tomasz Łukasz Łapiński. This other gentleman on the previous recording, his name is Sebastian Krata. I just thought it was a good occasion for us to press recording and record this which was recorded and is available now as first recording of HAYAH TV. We met together working on the road, accidentally someone could say. We met in one company and we decided to make this recording. So as a follow-up to this first recording, which if you haven't seen yet, perhaps it would be a good idea for you to pause this recording and go and to see the first recording. As a follow-up to this, what already have been said in the previous recording, I have just read what the English translation of the so-called, as Christians like to say, inspired Christians like to say God breathed. So the Most High, through his prophet Moses, he decided to put in words, as we read what we just read, O Israel, to the house of Israel, what follows. Hear, O Israel, the Most High, our power, is one power. Sebastian was raised in a Catholic family in Poland. I was raised as a Catholic in Poland. I was more so involved in Catholicism. I'm not Catholic anymore since I'm not quite so sure, perhaps maybe like 7 years, maybe less than that, I'm not quite so sure. It's been a few years now, I'm not a Catholic. But on the grounds of understanding, which we have received from our forefathers, being raised by Polish community, among Poles in Poland, the expose to the knowledge that's out there in the world is called Catholicism, and this is how every person in any religion start to perceive the reality. We see the reality through the eyes of religion oftentimes, which is designed to bind us in philosophy. If we were to trust another person instead of the Most High power who gives the revolution in the first place, the Most High sends false prophets. They are controlled by the Most High power only to give people who do not want to hear the words of the Most High and love Him with all His heart, with all our heart. If we as a children don't offer our heart to our Father, He is able to put us under the curse. And what we read in book of Deuteronomy in the 6th chapter is very, I believe, relevant to the times we're living in. And I believe it's no coincidence that more and more people, I don't know, like anyone teaching what we teach in HAYAH TV out there in any language at this point in time, not to the T, not to say that we know in HAYAH TV, we or myself as operator of camera, I know everything, but I know that what we know and what we teach is so far revolutionary ideas to some of you listeners, even so far of this 11 minutes 27 seconds of the second recording. Someone in an era where everybody knows, right, that Christ was European and he was nailed to the cross to give life to everybody. There's someone like me who is able to ask some simple questions and try to reflect on what is going on. Just, pause for a second and reflect on what we have seen in past like a month or so. Is it not this book foretelling us about those events which are happening right now? If there's any so-called truth seeker out there is going to be listening to this recording, ask yourself a question. Is not this sick Babylonian ideas that are spread around, that we live on a ball, for example, or that, there's going to be alien invasion, or any sick ideas that's out there, is it not every person spreading these philosophies of this world is not coming back to the main source of information about origins, of where everything actually started, to the true history of origin of how did humanity got here? Is this not the book which I think is still best-selling book until this day? I'm not quite so sure, but I think it is. So I was planning to make this a short segment, and for those of you who perhaps right off the bat see brother like me starting to read the gospel from this side of the book, so-called Old Testament, before I'm gonna read what I'm gonna read right now from so-called New Testament. This idea that the Most High Power, the Creator of life, have ever changed His mind regarding the nation, the group of people which is going to be chosen to be those two olive trees which stand on two sides of the candlestick, which is the tree of life, which is the light which is supposed to shine to all the nations, that the Most High Power designed other salvation other than the one which is being written about in Book of Revelation, that there is this heavenly city called Zion, the enlightened ones, enlightened with the Yerushalayim, with the teaching of the Shalom, of peace, teaching of peace, that this great kingdom is coming, and it is written that there is 12 gates leading to the city with the name of 12 sons of children of Israel. Perhaps you Christian brothers who will decide to continue, follow this perhaps I would love to make this a habit of yours. Spend this few minutes in a week listening to what we're gonna say in HAYAH TV. Perhaps with time you're gonna see that what is written in the so-called Old Testament is written throughout the book. The Most High never changed his mind. The holy commandment given to Moses is according to the holy book given to Moses, the word of life, and the word of life which have come to the world is coming and is saying this. And for those, one more thing, for those of you who are not skilled in this understanding of what this book is saying, if I could give you the word of advice, if you're gonna think that it's gonna be something like a profit of yours, spending a few minutes with me, listening to your brother, sharing with you what I know about the book, please start to make some simple notes right off the beginning. I've just started to use this book, which I'm showing to you right now. It's a beautiful book. I'm marking the text. As we speak, I'm not gonna mark anything. There is many things to mark in the book, which I'm gonna use to provide you with this information which I have. This is my book, which I have had for past maybe, I don't know, maybe like 4 years, maybe I don't know. It's not falling apart yet, but it's gonna be full of notes. This book is gonna look very similar to this book very soon. And for those of you who used to study any subject, you know very well that it's nothing like to have a book and to be able to put a note on the side of the page. So before we're gonna go further with what Christ said about himself, this segment in my head was to inform you about what books, what literature we're gonna use in HAYAH TV mostly, and it's gonna come as a great profit of yours if you're gonna be able to spend some money to buy a book similar to this. Sooner or later you're gonna come to realize that if you want to become a student of the so-called Bible, Biblos means book. If you're gonna be able to put your hands on a codex which has got all the books of the Bible, there's a lot to say what is called the Bible. This is what the Most High gave to our forefathers 500 years ago in Europe, what was called the Bible. Let's put it this way, to simplify. If you can buy yourself Old Testament with Apocrypha, which is, I think, like 14 books or something like that. I was counting today. I probably miscounted. And with New Testament in one volume, okay, spend some extra money. Go ahead and buy it, because you're not gonna regret it. This volume, this particular volume, which I have, is the New Cambridge Paragraph Bible with Apocrypha. Why I'm gonna use King James Version of Bible is because King James Version of Bible is approved by scholars dating back to 500 years ago, who have taken huge amount of time, money, energy, resources were spent to for the book like King James Bible to come to fruition. It was literally thousands of texts known to this day, which were gathered from many places all over the world, and based on this knowledge, which were passed through from generation to generation, this came about. And together with this book, if you want to study the Bible, I think would be a good idea to buy something like Strong's Concordance. More about textual criticism and why I'm not in favor of teaching to English speakers the text of the Catholic Church, the so-called Hort and Woscott text, which I was using to introduce with good news to Polish listeners of HAYAH TV. The difference is Biblia Gdańska, which is Biblia Gdańska and Biblia Brzeska, which are two representations of the same text from which King James Version of Bible is coming from, so-called authorized text. Polish language used back in the days to the modern reader is somewhat archaic and is difficult to be understood, where the King James Version of Bible is perfectly fine to be understood by modern listeners of English language. Plus, starting this platform, HAYAH TV, over a year ago in Polish language, I was longing for this time I am in now. I have opportunity to speak to my brothers and sisters in English language using the authorized version of 1611 King James Version of the Bible. I mean, I have to tell you, this is privilege for me in itself, to be able to live in these times knowing what I know and have the text of the King James 1611 Bible in front of me. If you have never tasted what the sweetest indulgence in the English language reader can have, I would advise you strongly, buy yourself 1611 Bible with Apocrypha, and really have fun studying the book and learning the word of life with us, your brothers and sisters in HAYAH TV. So, Strong's Concordance is con means together, cord is something which binds together. All the words which are used in English language in the text of King James Version of the Bible were compiled by a group of people under the direction of James Strong somewhat a few years ago, since 1798. This is Thomas Nelson edition of Strong's Concordance. And if I would be in position to advise you which concordance to buy, this is really not that expensive one, but Nelson has got really good informations in his concordance in comparison to other publishers. I have many concordances, but Thomas Nelson is my favorite one. So in this book you're gonna have Hebrew section of the book in wording and Greek section of the book in wording. Plus, on the beginning of the book, English word index. This English words used in a text and what they are actually represented by in Greek text, from which the translators, they're telling us the words have derived. And to take an example, in King James Version of the Bible, there was two words for describing what is modernly called in English language love. There was word phileo, which means something like feeling in English language modernly, so to say, and word agape, which was translated charity. Charity, agape, and phileo, love, they are not the same thing. This is just an example. This is the main reason for HAYAH TV to introduce itself to the world, mainly to spread the good news about the way, the righteous way of living. That's the first thing. But secondly, to inform those of you who already are on this way how to superimpose, even in a greater way, the righteousness of the Most High in your life by greater understanding, which is faith. Faith is understanding. This is a very important thing which is not being told in Christian religions. I have noticed that it is like the Paul is saying in his writing, people, they like to hear the things which they like to listen to people who tell them what they want to hear in the first place. The truth is always going to be opposed. So if there is some resistance in you, future listeners, future viewers of HAYAH TV, in carrying on learning the word of life with HAYAH TV, if you won't be able to spend more time in the future for us in HAYAH TV, one thing I would like you to remember from this lesson, if this is gonna be the only lesson you're gonna hear from us, that what we have read in book of Deuteronomy about following the understanding of the Most High by meditating upon His law when we walk the way is something which in Gospel of John 14th chapter is put in this way, put in a slightly different way, but this is gonna give you the richer meaning of what does it mean to follow the way. Gospel of John 14th chapter 5th verse. Thomas said unto him, Master, we know not whither thou goest, and how can we know the way? And how can we know the way? Hodos, in Greek language, hodos. Hodos means to walk on the basis, on the understanding. This is what actually is defined by Greek language by being a king. But basileus, to be a king, means to be a son of the Father, to receive holy commandment, which the Most High gave His Son, Yeshua Christ, to give to children of Israel through the mediator, which was Moses. And this way, the truth, and the life is what this book is about. This is how simple actually gospel is, and what we are gonna spend hours upon hours in HAYAH TV try to explain on the base level, going up in understanding, and from the simple to more complacent things is actually big loss of time to what we are reading right now. We have just read information about keeping the holy commandments which were given to our forefathers, or Israel, and that are which commandments are, as we read. Yeshua said unto him, I am the way, I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the way, the hodos, the truth, aletheia. Aletheia, aletheia in Greek language means alpha, gives opposite meaning to what lantano means. Lantano means to lie hid. Aletheia means to uncover that which is hidden, not to hide anything. Yeshua said unto him, I am the way, the truth, he who reveals that which is hidden, and the life, and the high. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. No one come to the Father but by me. I think it's gonna be Matthew 20. Perhaps. Matthew, Gospel of Matthew, 22nd chapter, and 23rd verse. The same day came to him Sadducees, which say that there is no resurrection, and asked him, "Hi there, brother. Can I have another, or can I pull out, and can I have another 5 minutes before I swap?" Yeah. Okay, no problem. Brother, can I have literally 3 minutes before I go? Can I have literally 3 minutes before I go? Yeah, sorry?
What time is it?
It's 3 to 8? Yeah, 3 to 8. Yeah, give me 3 minutes. Alright, thanks a lot. The same day came to him Sadducees, which say, there is no resurrection, and asked him, saying, Master, Moses said, if a man die having no children, his brother shall marry his wife, and raise up seed unto his brother. Now there were with us 7 brethren, and the first, when he had married a wife, deceased, and having no issue, left his wife unto his brother, likewise the second also, and the third, unto the 7th. And last of all the woman died also. Therefore in the resurrection, whose wife shall she be of the 7? For they all had her. Yeshua answered and said unto them, Ye do err, not knowing the Scriptures, nor the power of the power. For in the resurrection they neither marry, nor are given in marriage, but are as angels of the Most High in heaven. But as touching the resurrection of the dead, have ye not read that which was spoken unto you by the Most High, saying, I am the Most High of Abraham, and the Most High of Isaac, and the Most High of Jacob. The Most High is the Most High, is not the Most High of the dead, but of the living. And when the multitude heard this, they were astonished at his doctrine. But when the Pharisees had heard that he had put Sadducees to silence, they were gathered together. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him, and saying, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Yeshua said unto him, Thou shalt love thy power, the Most High, with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and the greatest and the great commandment. And the second is like unto it, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Glory be to the Most High. Peace be to the brothers and sisters of House of Israel scattered at this present time in Babylon. Let the Most High be with you. May the force of the Most High, may the power of everlasting life be on your way of life. Glory be to HAYAH.